Hello everyone, I am doing a tutorial because I've been asked by a few people on how do I make my bonbons for Christmas, and they're not just for Christmas. I think it's a bit of fun, and I'm just doing this as simple and as cheap as you possibly can. And it's so nice to get the kids involved if you've got young ones. A lot of pleasure and so much cheaper and better than what you buy in the already store-bought bonbons. They're pretty lame actually, the store-bought ones, but we'll go further into it. So this is what the finished product is, and let's start and I'll show you what we need. So we need some toys and some bits and pieces that'll go inside the bonbons. So you've even got a little car. A lot of these little toys and things, you can get these in cheap dollar stores. Here in Australia, we've got a big chain of stores called the Reject Shop, and what it is, it's just where you get all this cheap stuff, or they call it here also a $2 shop. And I know in the US they've got the dollar stores, and there's a lot of those type stores no matter where you are. So, and you often get them in a pack of 5 or 10, all the bits and pieces. So I usually just get a whole bunch. You can also usually buy, but you might find them online, these are the crown party hat things. Some people don't want to put them in, and it's perfectly fine if you don't. I know every time if I put them in, my family says, "Oh, Karen or Mum, why'd you put the lame ass party hats in?" But hey, let's embarrass them on Christmas Day, why not? What else do we need? We need some sweets, lollies, chocolates, whatever you like to call them. This here was a very huge box of Cadbury favourites, and as you can see, this is a massive box, but no, Linus goes and eats most of them, and this is all I have left out of that big box. And you'll need, and this is where you get the cheapy things, paper serviettes or napkins, and any variety or colour that you want. And again, these are really cheap in the dollar stores. This whole packet was $2 and there's 20 in there. That one's a bit more of the traditional stuff. That's a bit off the wall bowl, but I love the colour. There you've got a bit more traditional. There you've also got the poinsettias. You also need snaps. Look, you don't have to put snaps in, but they are nice and more realistic. These you can buy usually in a bag. They come, like I said, mine's so old, but they usually sell them in a bag of 50 or something like that. If you can't find them in your local art store or dollar store, get online, eBay or somewhere for cheap. These are really, really good, and they are really nice loud snaps. Get ready for it. So as you can tell, now the reason they snap, a lot of people don't realise this, it's actually gunpowder on them. That's why you smell that gunpowder smoky smell. Some people don't like the whole idea of having gunpowder, especially near your children, so if that's the case, don't put the snaps in. But they're harmless, never seen any problems, and the reason I know it's gunpowder because I was brought up in Tasmania where guns was normal. You also need some sort of roll. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, use your leftover toilet rolls." I'm a little bit sus on that because I keep thinking of the hygiene part of it. So I'd say, yeah, use the toilet roll to get roughly your measurements, but it's not my first choice. So I actually use a bit of cardboard and I'll roll it. Now, these are the sizes, or rough sizes. You can make it as big as you want. Long edge, 7.5 inches or about 19 centimetres. Short edge, 5 inches or about 12.5, 13, doesn't really matter. So, and that's just a bit of cardstock. So, now you can use your toilet roll if you want as your gauge. If you want to say, okay, I want it roughly the same as a toilet roll, and that's fine. If you don't have a toilet roll, grab something round, like this is just a curling ribbon thing, and this will also give me the sizes of something round. So wrap it around a bottle or a hairspray can, anything that you need to get you round. Like if I put that around the curling ribbon, that's a really big bonbon, but it's actually not a bad size for the goodies that I actually put in them. So I'm going to use that as my round. So the first thing I'm going to do is tape my round and make sure that's nice and firm. Now I've got to get the roll out. Right. And I just want to reinforce putting that tape down. So if you are putting in one of your snaps, the best thing is just eyeball it. I don't actually measure it. I'd sort of look down on it and think, yeah, that looks roughly the same as that. If you're really particular, put it on the outside. If you want to measure it and put a pencil mark, really it's not that biggie. So what we do is you don't glue or anchor both sides. You only put, and I'd say only use a bit of tape. You can use any type of sellotape, sticky tape, magic tape, washi tape, call it whatever you will, but only anchor it on one side, not both, because if you anchor it on both, when the people go to pull it apart, they're never going to pull it apart because it's anchored both sides. So it is only anchored on one side. Now the easy part is, and I'm going to make a one that looks a little more traditional. So I'm using the holly serviettes. So, open up your serviette, place your roll, again, eyeball it roughly where your middle is. You can anchor that first little bit of tape there, and I'm just going to anchor that down, and I am going to roll. So, rolly, rolly, rolly. And then all I'm going to do is a bit of tape and plonk it in the middle. Now magic tape, magic tape I find is useless as a sticky tape if you really want to anchor something down. But for this type of thing and dealing with the serviettes, which is quite fine like tissue, the magic tape is more than enough. So you can see it coming together on what we're doing. Now, we need to close off one of the ends. So you can either use the rolls of this curling ribbon that is really only small. It's about 1/4 of an inch or 5 millimeters, 1/2 centimetre. I've got a lot of these wide ribbons because we do lots of gift wrapping in this house for my Etsy store clients. So I haven't measured that. I've just really grabbed a length and thought, yep, that's enough, it'll tie around. Now, because this is a really wide ribbon, get your scissors and I snip it into 4. And the reason is this type of ribbon, it actually tears straight. So out of this one piece of ribbon, I can actually get 4 strands. So with the bottom down, I'm just going to tie off one end, and I can see that that is roughly the end of the roll. So nothing fancy here, get around there, and I'm just going to work it so it is a little, not too tight there, because you don't want to tear it against the roll. And come here, and just going to tie it in a knot. Now the end here, we're just going to open up a little, and there you can actually see is the snap to grab. So I've just knotted it. Use the back of your scissors or a plain bluntish butter knife and just give it a curl, because we only need to anchor this one end at the moment. Okay, so we now fill our roll. Don't forget the all-important really lame jokes, and you can find jokes like this all over the internet. Get onto Pinterest, you'll find lots and lots of printables, so look for cracker jokes or Christmas jokes. So we've got to have the all-important joke, we've got to add in the all-important, very lame paper hat, and I'm just shaking that down. We add a toy. I can't help myself. And that goes down. Then we add the best of all is the cherry ripe. Why not? Let's add another one. And again, you can see how they're all going down there. But my best thing of all to add in charms, which you too can add in with your bonbons, is why not a better gift than some charms. So see how easy this is? And can you imagine giving somebody your own homemade bonbon with all those goodies, yummies, daggy hat, really lame Christmas jokes, and charms. So that would certainly bring a smile to their face. Grab another piece of your ribbon and tie it off. Again, where am I? Where's the end? Oh, there's the end. So again, just tie it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And we open up the bottom again so we can see our snap, and then we curl that ribbon as well. So like I said, this is a really big fat bonbon, but this is the beauty of making your own. You can make them whatever size you like. And then if you want to go a little bit more fancy, which is like this one with a little bit of gold, you can buy also in your dollar stores, and they come in this whole packet of gold or silver paper doilies. And again, this was only $2.50. So, and I don't know how many's there, probably 10 or 20, I'm not sure, I haven't counted them. And what I've done on this one, I just actually cut the paper doily in half, because the full one, look, you can probably fit a full one on that size. That one I only fit a half actually. Let's put a full one. And when you get paper doilies, you might think, oh, that's one there, but they are so thin to separate, and you'll find, like, you think that's one there, and I can actually feel with the thickness that's another as well. So yeah, don't think you've only got so many, because by the time you actually separate them, when I can get to, I can see it, see how many you get, and pull it apart fairly gently. And I'm going to stick that one on, and because it'll fit roughly my 5-inch, so that one's going to look really fancy. And again, you just put your tape on the bottom of it to hold it in place. So imagine those sitting on your table, or for gift giving to somebody that's really special to you. And it's also a great way is when you don't have a huge amount of things for gift giving for people, but you know they have like 4 or 6 or 8 people at their Christmas table, why not actually give them a whole bundle of them, and you have your own bonbons. But I hope you like this tutorial. It is very simple. It is very Christmas on a budget, but why not have something that's so personal? Like I said, very good idea is to put my charms in the bonbons as the gift itself. Thanks for listening.